Welcome back to Keep the Promise, the podcast for those who serve, sweat, and strive to stay mission ready in all areas of life. In part 1, retired FDNY Captain Rob Cefoli shared his journey through the fire service, his battles with trauma, and how trauma release exercises, TRE, helped change the game for his own recovery and the wellness of his fellow firefighters. Today, we go even deeper. We're talking about the body's natural tremoring mechanism, what it is, why it matters, and how it's helping first responders release years of built-up stress and tension. Rob unpacks how TRE works on a physiological level, how it's being used in fire academies, and how it's transforming lives, from skeptical veterans to brand spanking new recruits. We'll also get personal, sharing stories from the field, insights from the firehouse, and one firefighter's emotional transformation that will hit home for anyone who has ever carried more than they have ever let on. This episode is about reconnecting to your body, to your emotions, and to a better way forward. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Keep the Promise podcast, where we help build resilient and well-rounded firefighters.
And you move up the chain, quadriceps, hip flexors, the posterior chain. And then we finish with a bridge on the ground. And then we're in a position of rest, which is like a diamond shape. So you're on the ground for most of the session after your warm-ups. And then there are interventions you do while you're tremoring. So once you bring the tremor up out of the body, which is basically from the adductors, we use our adductors to stimulate a tremor isometric hold. You're connecting to that mechanism. Once you got it, you can manipulate your body around to try to transfer that tremor around the body. And what we found as firefighters is that most of our attention is locked in our hips and pelvic region. And for us, we have like a 50 foot rope that we sit on in our right hip, and all our backs jerk up. Because you're sitting like this in the rig and you carry this extra weight on one side. So your gait's a little wet. Everything tightens up. So, we have like the belts. So everything's tight around here anyway. So I think that has a lot to do with what we see in our bodies. So a lot of our firefighters will shake, but they won't get it past it. Like it won't travel past. So we look at like the path of least resistance. So when it hits resistance, it's going to kind of stay there and tremor and try to relax that area. So then that layer is trying to lift it. So we're packing like an onion events, worry, stress, arguments, and it's just compacting. Right? Think about that. It's layer, layer, layer. This mechanism from the inside out is going to help to kind of shake out the shit. We see how to shake out the shit. Right? So layer by layer. And then sometimes you'll have like a huge like release like I had. So when I was training with Dr. Berselli, I'll lead from the front. I'll be the first guy on the ground. I'm no pussy. I'm going to shake the shit out of me. Right. And I want as much. And again, you can't think like that now. No session's better or worse. It's just what your body needs at the time. But when I was going through the training, I'm like, I'm going to really shake today. I'm really going to,
I'm going to shake the most out of everyone.
Yes.
I'm going to show them that I can shake.
That's what we do. Like, I'll show you. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better than it. But it's not like that. Your body knows what it needs at the time. So for a few months, I was getting relatively minor tremors. I was getting it in my legs and my hips. And a lot of people can this, especially when they first start TRE, they're not going to be fully connected in their body or relaxed enough to let it happen. Very important.
So it's got to come from within.
Yeah. Well, we control chaos. We control. The first thing we do with I'm telling you right now, every single person goes, I started to feel it, and then I was gonna, and then I stopped. I'm like, you're getting in the way. It's happening. You're trying to figure out, how do I tremor better or worse, or stop it because it's something weird. It's not even controlling it.
So let me make sure I'm getting this right. You're simulating the body. You're getting to that point because you start talking about tremors. You start talking about shaking. I go to certain exercises that I do that have, they give you that little shake. Like when you're planking for a certain amount of time, you're like, oh God, and you look like you're shivering. You guys are actually getting to that point, and then you're so like the mindfulness is so there that like mind body connection is so there that once you start shaking, you're basically almost weaponizing these tremors to release that trauma. Am I getting it right for the most part?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's figured the way to use the myofascial system to bring this out of the body. And then once you have it again, because we have it, we lose it.
Of course.
So he noticed that children in those areas that he worked in would just spontaneously shake, and then they would be fine afterwards. And the people would be just stuck in this posture, like this, like that oh shit posture. Like, ceiling's coming down on me. Like,
not quite fetal position, but you're kind of like curled up, ready for something. Yeah.
So that's not nothing. That's an autonomic response in the body. So all these muscles from the masseter down through the psoas into your adductors are connected. And that's what happens, right? And your shoulders protract. And you walk around with that posture, right? That forward head, right? Now it's even worse with these things, right? We're just like constantly down. So our whole structure gets like contorted in and tight. You're sitting a lot more. We're on our phones more. We have traumatic issues. We have stresses. We have finances. Everything just compresses you. And that's kind of what I was going through, where even though I could form my own stretch, I just wasn't releasing it. I couldn't figure out how to get this to go away. And the only thing until that point that really made a difference was those little TRE sessions. I added that. Again, probably the only thing, but it was the main thing first. And then it was like, hey, let's look at, because I've done foam roll. I stretch and yoga and like, I do all that stuff. That wasn't allowing, I think the body was so tight, it wasn't allowing that to be effective enough to give me relief. And then when TRE was added, I started to do more of the other stuff. Like I was going away from traditionally what I normally would do, the habits, right? This type of training, or this is overtraining as usual, fitness unit, 2-3 workouts a day, running with the probies and going to lift heavy and then too much on the body. I'm mid-40s. I'm not a superhero. So I had to start thinking smarter. And I think that longevity, recovery, feeling better is where you get the most out of your workouts then. Because then if you feel better, you're able to read yourself more. And then you're able to say, okay, well, today's definitely going to be a rest day. I'm still pretty sore. I might force something where I can just have to outwork myself. Also, because the TRAs helped me to take the edge off a little, where I'm not so adamant about it anymore. I'm not so jacked up and out for about it. I gotta work out. Because that's how it was. That was my outlet to handle stress. That was really it. Or I would drink. Because you have two options here. It's like you drink, which is traditionally accepted and supported and look forward to, like, hey, this trip, this day, we're going out. Let's go. Like, and you always end up drunk. And I think it's partly tradition, but it's partly that we get brought into the system. We start to experience these things. And then it's like, all right, I don't want to feel that anymore. So let me just hang out, which is fun. So, and I also was in college and it wasn't helping me like not do that, so I had these tendencies to begin with. I also was trying to be healthy, which was contradiction. So I lived that way for a long time, and it took me until very recently to say, why do I need that? Why am I going to that? Because I feel like there's no other way, right, to just chill out. So this has become a better replacement, but it's also allowed me to stave off of those type of coping mechanisms where I feel like I don't need it as much. I have other things I can do. And once that feeling passes, I have more ability to choose. So I'm not saying you can't have a drink. I know that it does nothing good for me. I'm okay with that, but I might still have one socially, or just because I can. Like I'm an adult.
Right. You have that choice.
I'd rather not though. So I choose now more often because I don't want to train. I want to be in better shape now. Again, leaving work, the home where it is kind of helps. It helped me reset a little bit and put my priorities in order. And my kids are young, and I realized I really need to be here for them because I'm watching the Fire Academy 25 to 35-year-olds coming, and they missed something in my eyes. I should have been taken care of when they were younger. So as a father, it just seemed like there are skill sets and tools that need to be taught. And we can teach our first responders a lot of these things, including TRE. But we also have many more people outside of our department that really could use this. I think that they don't have as much chronic, like stressors that build callousness, like driving to work. Like my wife going to my firehouse to like my last tour was like, how do you drive here every day? I wanted to scream because you're in the BQE, the Brooklyn Queens Express rate, just dead stop 4 miles an hour. Every time you go to work, hour and a half to go 13 miles. That's the only way to go there. So that back and forth is like callousness you build. Like if you didn't have that, you had a very easy life and you had a big event. Maybe you're not there, right? So maybe that affects you deeper. So for us in higher volume areas or maybe things that you see more, maybe you do build callousness, but it still affects your body. So you can't discount that. Yes, you're a human being no matter what. Nobody's a superhero. You can't if you went to a million fires. You're carrying around stuff. You may not realize it, but you're still carrying it. It's going to impact your family like residue. You're going to bring that home with you. You're not going to be your best self. So I'm in this weird place after the last year and a half where I was okay with leaving because I knew this mission was here. I've seen it with, we did our probies, a few probie classes with TRE, introductions. They love it. A lot of veterans. Still new to them. It's hard to do with a big group too. Like you're trying to instruct people. It's 100 kids on the ground. On the ground. It's crazy sight. Really crazy sight. But we made it happen. We just said, we're just going to do it because we feel it's so valuable that it needs to be taught up front. If that person has this skill for 20 years, if I had this skill in 2008, maybe I would have been a little different. I don't know. I can't go back and change it, but realize that everything that you go through affects your body, which affects the way you feel. And it's not really how you're thinking about it, how you feel about it. I think about that far and there's less of a reaction in my life. But when I had a drill on it for two years, literally go around and talk about it, teach on how to use your your EAB, and like tell the squad guys, read the report. Like that was that was your fire. I was like, that was the one for me. There was other ones, and there was like random just EMS runs with kids, like things like that, where it's not newspaper worthy, but it's just what you're seeing when you show up. One of my last was when it was a poor guy, 25 years old. Got hit by a delivery van, got put under a semi, and we got there and it's just his eyes were wide open, man. It was just like, and he's like staring at me. It was probably like a month before I was done. I'm like, man, I just don't want to see that anymore. I felt horrible. And now that I'm getting the feeling back, there's a whole other discussion on your emotions that come back through this process that you have to redefine. So, like the empathy and the sadness that I feel for people is much greater than it was throughout my career. That got turned off. Right? You go on the run, you have this horrible situation, get back on the rig, and it's like, let's go over here and
let's go get a pizza, right?
It's crazy to talk about, but it's normal activity for us. So we get back there, and my first thing was, he's a flag guy. Man. He didn't do his job right. It was a very dark joke. I'm like, I just fucking said that.
Jesus.
I still fucked up. There's hope, right? Do a better job. That's the first stupid thing you think of. And it's horrible to say out loud, but it's true. And I think we build this on honesty and we build it on authenticity and we're talking real shit. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's a superhero. Okay. If you're the saltiest guy in the world, there's some things that affect you. You're a human being and your nervous system doesn't know the difference of all your experiences. It's just going to respond the same way. And it still responds. I just have a tool now to shed it easier. And I have a method that I use and I incorporate with consistency. And we teach it now. So pairing it with other somatic methods, SMR, structural work, a lot of postural realignment, like looking at yeah, exactly, right? Like how your head sits drains your energy. If I'm sitting up versus I'm sitting slouched, I lose energy. There's energy leaks in the body all over. There's muscles that don't work because your body, your gait changes when you have tension. So it might be pulling on one area. Now you overcompensate another area. Now you have a knee issue or a back issue or, you start to see these connections. I had injuries every year, back 4 years. What fasciitis, knee, neck, where I was out of work for like 3 months. And then that was the summer. And then the winter was my low back, which I thought I herniated disc. And I got bulging discs and all, nothing too bad, but I'm not perfect either anymore. I realized there was a lot of issues in my body that came up and that they started to unfurl a little, feel a little better, run a little easier, squat a little easier, feel a little better at home, more relaxed. Not as much in a rush to get everything done in one day. Like just weird things and where I'm now excited about things. The first time I felt joy, I talk about this a lot. I had a day, probably a few months into TRE. It was in the summer. My sons are outside, my 2 sons, and one of them is in a bucket, he falls in, his feet is hanging up in the air. And that sight made me laugh so hard that I felt it. And it was probably the first time I felt it while I laughed. Because usually you laugh it off like it's surface level.
Yeah.
I laugh all the time. I have so much fun, but it's all just bullshit for real. Most of it. It's really, oh my God, like I love my kid. That was so funny. That was a great moment. And it touched me where I felt it in my heart and I said, holy shit, I haven't felt that. I can't even tell you if I ever felt that. Then the empathy if neighbors, passed away. I feel like so bad. Holy shit. I'm like, let me reach out to them. Let me call this person. Like making the social connections again back. I think for a long time I was just so siloed. Like I'd be worrying about so many things. I wasn't actually connecting with people anymore. And that started to come back as well. So I feel now that I'm a better person for it. Whereas, before I just couldn't access it, right? So the access of your parasympathetic side of you that makes you that whole person again, redefines you now. Who are you now? Because I thought I knew who I was, and I started to really reanalyze my purpose, my priorities. Like, what do I want to do? What's my life going to look like? Is it going to be another 10 years in the fire service? Worry about scheduling, missing holidays and nights and weekends. Or do I have the actual ability here to get out? And it was like, I had the ability to do it because of my rank and it was able to stabilize my home life. Where I was like, you know what? I'm going to get all my time back. And my kids are more important. And my wife is more important. They've been taking the back seat for a long time. And even my daughter, it's hard enough with her part-time back and forth and scheduling. So it makes it easier for me to spend more time with my daughter one-on-one. I can spend more time one-on-one with kids. I can do it as a group. Wife, I can give her more time because she's been handling a lot of the stuff at home. And now that I'm we're building this mission out, like we're traveling now. And I'm like, there was no break in service. It was just like, I retired on one day. The next day I was in Kentucky. We were training 15 guys down there who heard a podcast and were looking at ways to help their members. And we had some really interesting and amazing feedback, stories, breakthroughs, people that I never met before. And it was only because of things like this where you can talk honestly about it. We've done it here. It's valid. It works. We've put 1,000 people here through TRE at least once. We have a full Pro Week class as a TRE aware. We're building out our TRE awareness training, which is basically your level of understanding where you can practice this. Because it's a tool that you can learn and use. You don't have to pay a subscription monthly to learn this. I think a lot of people that try it without a provider, without the information that we can give them from our perspective, it makes it hard to access. They don't get it. It's weird. We have guys that are like 30 years on, Frobies that have a couple months on. Everybody's had a positive experience, even the ones who are completely against why they.
Okay, so that is my question. That you have experienced all the benefits. You have seen what's on the other side of taking that leap into TRE. But you come from a very traditional fire department. That's, FDNY, like it or not for you guys, we idolize. Everybody holds the entire fire service, certainly within the US and a lot of times throughout the world, they hold it to the center of the FDNY. So how do you get that buy-in from those salty dudes who are like, this is not traditional fire department. This is not the shit that I signed up for. You're going to make me shake and be emotional. Fuck this. How do you get that buy-in? Real quick before we jump back in. Firefighters don't leave each other behind. We look out for our own. Right now, there's a firefighter out there, maybe a rookie, maybe a seasoned veteran, who needs this podcast. They need the lessons, the mindset, and the training tips. But they'll never get them unless you help them. Here's how you can help right now. On Apple Podcasts, tap the 5 stars, then scroll down and write just a few words about what the show has done for you. On Spotify, tap the 3 dots, select Rate Show, and drop your rating. It takes less than 60 seconds, it costs you nothing, and it helps one more firefighter get better, stronger, and more prepared. We look out for each other. This is one small way that you can pay it forward. All right, back to the show.
So, authenticity. I'm very candid about my stuff, and I had to be honest because for a long time I felt bad about feeling bad. And I realized that you cannot compare your stuff to someone else. It doesn't matter. It's just your perspective of all your events in your life. So I used to go, I was in the military and I never got blown up in a Humvee, so I really can't complain about it. I'm alive and I'm grateful for all those things. But you can't discount those incidents. You can't discount that your body's going to have a response that you're not controlling at the time. It's just not the way it works. Your nervous system works subconsciously. So you can't go, oh, this is a terrible situation. Let me think this through a little bit. Your body's going, holy fuck. And that's another layer. And it imprints. And then you shove it down because you can't really figure out how to talk. But our guys we had got, our first couple of people, 25-year captain goes, I don't know what the fuck that was, but I feel amazing. And I was like, holy shit. Then you have people that are, the most recent one in the FDNY, I was able to come back. So I'm actually so proud of this because leaving, I was worried about this falling apart because, continuity is very tough. Not everyone, the level of our understanding. So the people, the captain that took over, it has to get trained up on it. Right? We have some guys in the unit that get trained, but if all the people coming in and out of that unit, can't be the only ones that know this. So we have peer support, we have counseling services, we have our EMS side, our EMS fitness trainers, retiree groups that are kind of all involved in this awareness level. And it comes with some guys have 30 years and 60 years old. At the last session at the Rock, I was able to be able to instruct there and help them out. And I don't know why I'm here. I know why you're here because you're at the end of your career and it's another overtime workshop that it's available for you. And I'm pretty sure that's probably why originally, right? Somebody mentioned to this guy, he was like the cancer of the room. 24 people and 23 of them were all excited. This guy was like, I hate everyone. I don't know why I'm here. And first session, we do 2 sessions in one day. We do a trial and then we do a secondary one. And we couple it with some sleep information, couple it with some information on cardiovascular health and things they can do for heart rate recovery. And we do some foam rolling and some band work and some structural work so that you get a little taste of it. And that's a glimpse of our TRE Aware, which is a 2-day or a day and a half workshop now that we're going around with. So it's a little bit more in our Aware workshop, but it was a first step in establishing something. And that was brought through our professional development office that started, and it's a way for people to get better in their careers. And the health part was TRE. So we built out this workshop and now we're on this is our 4th one, 3 last year and our first one this year, and completely getting dead set against it. And after the second session, he had a better response because they're a little bit more connected. Right? The warm-ups are working. You're getting into your body a little more. You get a little bit more pronounced tremor. And then a week later, this past Tuesday, we hold a free one, like a free voluntary one for this TRE Aware. Because now you have 2 sessions under your belt with providers. You need one more, usually 1 or 2 more, 3 to 4. 3 is average. That's what TRE recommends. So we went with their model and we said, all right, you get 3 supervised sessions. You're now classified as TRE Aware. You can now practice safely at home and explore the mechanism because it's very safe. It's not going to hurt you. You can't really overdo it. It'll shut off on its own if you try to do it forever. It'll just stop. There's only a certain amount of work your nervous system can take before it shuts off. So I've tried it. I just stopped.
Of course you tried it. You're like, you know what? I'm going to do the most TRE out of everyone. Of course you did.
Well, you have to lead the way, right? So we lead. So I stand by that. I'm going to teach anything to anyone, even the kids I train, my teenagers and my sons. I'm going to look at what they need. I'm going to try it. I'm going to figure it out. And then I'm going to go give best practices and what I think. Because that's all I can do. It's only my perspective. I'm not the only person. I have a team of guys that are working very hard on this and very diligent on it. We're grabbing people into our community, our tribe, our TRE aware groups, and we're getting people that really have profound effects. So this guy, Jimmy, I was back on the free day. I go, holy shit, this guy showed up. Because I emailed a whole list of people. I got a list of over 100 people that have tried it. And we're just trying to get them to that level where, hey, you can participate in our study. Once you're aware, it's just basically doing TRE 3 times a week and a couple surveys. We just want to get it in a group setting so we can pose it as research and maybe get some grant money for studies, get some researchers involved, get all the departments to look at it. Because again, we've established it here where we went to Kentucky, we're going to Colorado. We need some meat here. And I feel like what we've done is we made these, we'll go teach it and you guys will come and be a part of this study with us because you were open to listening first and you were open to trusting us that we had something that was very different, that was a tool that you can learn. Like, it's not just, hey, come talk about it forever. Like, if you go to therapy, you don't leave. I'll see you next week. They want to rack up the dollars. Most of them, not everybody. It's great. Like, the people that are forward thinking, they want to actually create change. Those are the people that we're trying to connect with. So Jimmy, as mad as he was on the first day in the morning, by the end of the 4th session he did, had relief in his back, full body tremors, was able to acknowledge that it wasn't bullshit. We were good with that because we were busting his balls like, oh, what happened to the guy that was all mad at everybody? Maybe it took his edge off and his face changed. And you could see people's kind of aura shift after a while and the stress level on it that people carry in their face. A really crazy story. I'll give you one story from training with Barcelo. And I posted it on our Instagram and it's me basically crying on the floor. So I had this profound release with Dr. Barcelo that I never experienced all my sessions of TRE until that, which really kind of shifted into holy shit. I really understand. I'm really starting to get this now. Because when I had that release in my diaphragm, which happened, the tremors traveled up past my hips now and got into my diaphragm, which is connected into your psoas and goes up to the body. And it's a big part of how we breathe. So many of our sessions, we do a little breathing exercise. Everyone is breathing like this. This overly sympathetic. All these muscles are getting overactive and reinforcing this negative feedback loop in body. And we teach deep, slow breathing around the waist. We try to extend the belly, right? We do the belly breaths, which is the movement of the diaphragm, right? So when we have a frozen torso, Barcelo explained to me, is like, your body's just stuck. It's frozen. The diaphragm's not pulsating. It's not safe. So when you're safe, like a child, like that big belly, they breathe, and big belly's out, right? They're relaxed. That's a parasympathetic state that we should be living in, but we live in this sympathetic state where always on alert, always on high alert. Maybe we all face a fire. Yeah, I'm going to breathe like this. But if I'm like on some downtime or we come in, I should be chilled. I shouldn't every day, all day, forever. You're just living in that state. So when I had this release, what happened to me was it came up to my diaphragm. I felt this emotion. I didn't want to cry. He was there to help me because now everyone's sitting around me. And there's in the video, typical fire department, my buddy Anthony's just staring at me, smiling as I'm trying to cry on the floor in front of him. And I wish the camera was like a little lower so it wouldn't show your face, but I think it had to be that way because that's how we are. Like, it's like, oh, look at this guy. What's going on? Because this is my experience. This is an outsider looking at me. He doesn't know really what's going on at the time. It's our initial training. And I had this emotion and I started to lose it. I hid my face in shame and I'm like, I can't believe I'm crying, but like, just let it go. Let it out. It's your diaphragm. You could be laughing or crying. It doesn't matter. Your diaphragm is moving. It's a good thing. So I learned that crying was a good thing. I learned that I just need to let it out. It passed. The thought of that job was immediate to that feeling. And I go, I know what that was. I know what that was. I don't know how I know it. I don't know what the fuck just happened to me, but that shit just came out of me. I was 15 fucking years ago. He's like, you okay? I'm good. I'm no quitter. Let's go. Let's keep now. We're going further. And I had another release and was just a 9-year-old kid named Joey that it was a random time I working out on in Staten Island, working on a detail. as a fireman, and in medical, guy gets lost getting there because it's a weird block. Get there, takes a little delay to get there. Get up in there, the family's screaming, the mom's screaming. Go up in the kid's room. He's got nebulizers. This kid's got issues, health issues. Fucking no, cut his shirt, throw him up, get him on the ground, the pads on him, right? I'm like, now I'm a detail, so I'm charged up. Get him, EMS gets there, we package him, coming down the stairs, dad's Joey, my Joey, my Joey, my Joey, and I fucking can't get out of my head. And the kid passed away. And then I had that happen to me again in the same session. It was like boom, and then boom, and I'm like, holy shit, because fucking thought was there. With that emotional rise up. So as I explained, like your layers, and then you have these things that are packed away. They think you've gotten over, and your body gets to let it out. We got a little choked up because I'm now thinking about ceremony. I'm like, wow, in theory really did work. Why are you feeling? Like, but it's still an event that I acknowledge, and I let it go because it's not going to ruin my life anymore. It's not going to be something where I will avoid it. I can speak on it. It did happen, but also what happened was I saw my body release these things, and I can't explain further than that. When I had these certain moments in TRE where that deadlift day with that multiple alarm, I had a session probably 3 or 4 months ago where my hands went to deadlift and my back got super, super warm, my low. And that thought of that day, that lift, I put 10 pounds on instead of 5. I said, this was my goal for 10 heavy lifts, which is a hard lift. Didn't pop anything. I knew I fucked up that day. And I was like, oh, that's why my back hurts. But it was just probably the straw that broke my back because it was everything else. And then that was it. That was the one that put me over the edge where I fucking broke it. And I go, and my body went to this and it got warm. I'm like, oh, deadlift day. And the whole thought of that morning, 7 a.m. lifting, heavy deadlift, and then going to ABC and the battalion chief, and then going to the 5-7 battalion to catch my third alarm, and then run around like a maniac for 3 hours outside of my element, emotional, worrying about guys, worrying about collapse, worrying about this. And I'm like, okay, that's gone now. I felt it come in my body. I felt my body going there. We had people that played hockey, their arms going to that holding the stick stance, shaking on it. Guy with neck injuries or heads are going crazy, right? Because it goes to where your trauma. I had pec tear. My whole chest started to go crazy once I broke through. Then I had started having weeks, upper body shaking, chest popping, and I had atrophy here. And now that I'm training again, it's connected again. I'm building back tissue, which is the craziest thing because I've been very self-conscious for 20 years since I tore it off the bone. That it was like lopsided. I had lopsided boobs. And I'm like, I hate taking my shirt off, and it's like a scar and like this little hole here. And then after this process, I start to feel like this is getting tissue again. I feel the difference now. Reconnect your muscle tissue from your like nervous system. Ultimately, it's reconnecting you together again, in my opinion, in my experience. That's all I can testify to. And everyone else is testifying to weird shit that they're noticing. And if you do it consistently enough, you'll start to come into that process of everything starts to get redefined. Your feelings come back, so now you got to interpret them again differently. Is it excitement or anxiety? Am I happy or am I just laughing? Am I, this is really making me sick. I can't watch stuff on TV, welled up again. I'm like, oh, you pussy.
Dude, this is fascinating. And
it's wild.
So I had the conversation with Joey Scrivani. He's the one who put me in touch with you. And he's the one that I interviewed. I don't even know how many, like 15, 20 episodes ago about this stuff. And there was something like I kept looking at him as we're recording and he's talking, he's telling me all these things. He's talking about the trauma release. I'm like, what? Like, I can't place it. And talking to you, it's the same thing. And I think I nailed it. I think it's that authenticity that kind of scares me, if that makes sense. Because it's that, like, I'm looking at you guys and you're talking about the traumatic experiences and you're talking about being vulnerable and being open. And here I am thinking that, like, my talk therapy and all those things are working. I'm like, all right, this is fine and everything. But I'm looking at you guys. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't think it's working as well as I thought. I think there might be a couple more layers of that onion that need to get peeled. And yeah. It's equal parts, like I said, fascinating and terrifying.
To address it is the first step. Like, you have to know that things affect you. Okay. You can't go around thinking, I'm good, I'm tough, I'm this, I'm the best fireman or a first responder or a police officer, and I can handle anything, because you have handled a ton of shit. Just because you've done it doesn't mean it didn't affect your physical, right? We have one body. We have to take care of it. Realizing that your nervous system and your muscle system and your myofascial system can really be impacted through what we deal with and just overall chronic stress. And that can lead to inflammation and depression and coping. So let's not do that. Let's work on the actual tools, right? Getting back to just one crazy thing is that talking about how you change, right? So my eye color changed after that session with Cefoli. So much so that he said it to me that day. And when I got home, he's like, your wife's going to say something to you. And it took me about 2 hours where I think I was wiping the counter down. She's freaking staring at me like from over here. I was like, why? What are you looking at? She's like, your eyes are bluer. I have hazel eyes and now they're like more blue. I'm sure you can see them now.
Uh-huh.
They got bluer after that one day, which in my interpretation is that windows of the soul, things get imprinted in the body. So maybe like it gets through your eyes, what you see. And now that changes something in there that at least it kind of goes back to a clearer state, maybe. But I saw that with the guy Jimmy's face, like the morning to like the afternoon, like he looked different. Like, so you can you actually start noticing people's, demeanor and their posture and how open they are to discussion or like how engaging they are, their energy. So which goes back to that little bit of that spiritual stuff, with Cefoli, where it's a modality where you vibrating. So I think that you're just kind of raising somebody's energy by releasing the stuff that's kind of bogging you down. And that's how I feel. I feel like I am able to convey this to people now because I have released it. I've gone through, I'm like ahead in the path. And I'm just saying, if you try it, like you try it, you'll like it. Like you try it, you'll feel it. You don't know because you don't. Once you've gone through a session with a good provider, again, not everybody's the same. And a lot of providers in TRE cannot reach the first responder. I've gotten a ton of messages from people, and even Dr. Cefoli has proclaimed it. Like, you guys have hit so many people with this. It's unparalleled in the TRE at this point, because it's like 1-to-1. You hire me as your somatic healer and I'll give you the TRE. I'm doing 30 at a clip. It's tough. Because he's even said it's so simple to do it once you got it. And then once you got it, it's like riding a bike. If I gotta go shake, I feel I have to shake. I feel I need it. I don't do it every day. I do like once, twice a week. But it's just like, you can like sense it. You can like, when you need to do it. You get a great response. You feel better afterwards. It helps you with your sleep, helps you with and you can't really put your finger on it. Because like science and research is kind of varied. But if we come up with these protocols for ourselves, we're not going to that therapist right now. Maybe we get better first in our bodies and then we can go talk about it. Like you can combine these things where maybe the first step is just addressing the body trauma, the feeling you have, the anxiety, reconnecting your emotions so you process things, right? And now you can kind of think more clearly. You can have better conversations with that cognitive behavioral therapist or somebody who's not saying your shoes. You won't get mad at them and say, go fuck yourself. Like, you don't know what to talk shit. Because I've talked to so many people and said the same thing. They're like, I just got so much more mad because they're not getting it. Because you're trying to explain it to them, but they haven't walked it. Just like I'm trying to explain TRE to you and you haven't shaken it. And once you do, you're like, oh. Right? And then you learn it, you're comfortable with it. We show you all different ways to intervene, which is how to manipulate your tremor or entice it to travel through those areas of tension, right? So if it hits a wall, maybe we can do interventions and maybe make it shift a little bit further in the pelvis and up the body.
That's the part that has most of my attention, being able to sort of harness that energy and take it throughout your body. Because when you started explaining the warm-up, there was a meditation app that I used for just to fall asleep years ago. I forget, I forget. It wasn't Huberman. This was pre-Huberman days. I'm talking like 2009, 2010. But this dude, like, I guess big in the meditation world, would have you basically take stock of your whole body. He's like, hey, feel your head, feel your jaw, relax it. Right. And going down and basically just feeling everything. And by the time that I would get to my hips, I'd be asleep, bro. Like, I'm like, all right, I feel my fingers and like out, like dead to the world. And so I've always been fascinated by that ability to focus the energy and the thought into a place in my body. And now that you're telling me we can take that and harness it and almost pinpoint in a certain way the issues, that's appealing. Yeah, because the follow-up question that I had for you is that you've talked about your back, you've talked about your pec. Are you at this point now that you have these skills, are you going basically through and saying, all right, I had, neck issues, let's try to harness that energy and move it in that direction? Or does it come automatically? And what do you think the end state is going to be? Like, there's going to come a point that you go through your entire body pretty much, and for lack of a better term, you've shaken all that shit off. What next?
Well, the life goes on, right?
Right.
The shit doesn't end.